Hello and welcome back to For You. My name is Reese.
I'm Chickling.
And today is day 2 of our article about Fika, right?
Fika!
Chickling, can you remind us something about Fika?
I think Fika is just like a break that colleagues you can have with your colleagues, and then you can share treats with them, you talk with them. It's like 15 to 30 minutes long.
That's right.
Am I right?
Yeah, and they do Fika in Sweden.
Okay.
It is a country in Northern Europe. And yeah, it's a good chance for you to take a break from work and to get to know your colleagues a bit better, right? Maybe we could try Fika after we
finish this filming.
Yeah. So let's get into day 2 of our Fika article and see what we've got.
Reading.
Fika, the cozy Swedish coffee break. Coffee and tea are both basic parts of fika. More important, though, are baked foods like cakes, cookies, or sweet bread. These treats should be fresh and look pretty. At work, the boss will often bring in some kind of homemade baking. In a cafe, a range of delicious pastries will be offered. The fresh food makes fika feel cozy and intimate. If you're not at work, you can take as much time as you want to fika. Some common fika treats include cinnamon rolls, fruit tarts, chocolate biscuits, cream buns, and so much more. Apple trees are common in Swedish gardens, parks, and farms. Therefore, this is a fruit that you'll find in many Swedish baked goods. One typical fika treat is apple cake. It's a thick cake that is filled with butter, sugar, and any kind of apples you like. Nothing brings us comfort and warmth like tasty food and some quiet time. Try practicing the fika tradition in your hometown.
Okay, so today's article begins by saying coffee and tea are both basic parts of fika. Okay, basic parts. What's basic? Well, basic is an adjective and we use it to describe the simplest parts of something. If something is basic, it is simple and easy to understand. The basic parts of something are the most obvious and simple parts of that thing. So coffee and tea, being basic parts of fika, mean that they are often the simplest starting points for fika. Almost every fika will have tea or coffee. Here's an example sentence. First, I will teach you the basic dance moves. Then we can learn the more complex parts.
所以这是很基本的。那么茶跟咖啡呢是 fika 基本的组成元素。那么 basic could also mean boring or not surprising. So maybe you can say all the stuff they talk about is so basic. 代表他们讲话好无聊哦，或者他们讲的东西没有内容。那么 basically 呢，对，是我们常常用的，就是有总的来说，或者是基本上的意思。And as the article says, tea and coffee are basic parts of fika. More important, though, are baked foods like cakes, cookies, or sweet bread. These treats should be fresh and look pretty.
I'm getting hungry now.
Yeah, me too.
The article continues and it says, at work, the boss will often bring in some kind of homemade baking.
Wow.
What's homemade? Well, you can probably guess from the word itself, homemade. If something is homemade, it means it was made at home. Homemade food often tastes better than shop-bought food because it's fresh and made with love.
所以更重要的是呢，烘焙类的食物啊，像是饼干、蛋糕、甜点类，或者是甜甜的面包，这些都是刚烤好，而且很漂亮的。那么呢，在工作上呢，老板通常都会带自制的点心去跟大家 fika。
那下 sounds like a good boss.
Yeah, I know. 所以 I wish my boss was like that. Okay, 我们下一句。In a cafe, a range of delicious pastries will be offered.
Okay, so let's talk about pastries. Pastries. I'm getting very hungry now. Pastry is a noun and it's a food made out of flour, sugar, milk, eggs, and sometimes other ingredients. When baked, pastry becomes crunchy, flaky, or crumbly. We often use it to make pies or other delicious snacks. However, the article said delicious pastries will be offered. Here the word pastries is still a noun, but instead of the ingredient pastry, the word is talking about different kinds of treats and snacks made using pastry, but they'll have other ingredients too. Some yummy pastries include mince pies, lemon tarts, cream eclairs. Oh, I'm getting so hungry. And there was something else here to talk about as well, and it was the phrase range of. A range of pastries. What does that mean? Well, here the phrase a range of just means many different kinds of something. Many things can come in a range. There is a big range of candies to choose from at the candy store. If you're buying a new car, there's a range of different car brands you can buy from.
所以 pastry 就是糕点的意思。那我们看到 a range of 就是很多样的，所以在咖啡厅里面呢，你可以看到很多不一样的点心哦。
Well, then the article continues and it says, the fresh food makes Fika feel cozy and intimate. Ooh, two very nice adjectives here, cozy and intimate. Let's talk about them. Cozy is a nice adjective that usually describes a place or an environment. A place that is cozy is small, warm, soft and comfortable to be in. The sofa is a cozy place to rest. My bedroom is cozy too. And intimate is an adjective that means very close or familiar. If we talk about a place that is intimate, that means it is a small, perhaps cozy place, and it forces people to be very close to each other. If we talk about two people being intimate, that means that they are very close to each other. They're not just friends, they're closer than friends.
所以这些新鲜的点心呢，可以让 Fika 变得更温馨。那老师刚刚讲到 cozy， 就是有很温馨、很温暖的意思。那让大家更亲密 ，intimate 就是亲密的意思。那接下来文章说了 ，If you're not at work, you can take as much time as you want to Fika。这边出现的 as 就是代表某人或某事尽最大的可能尽情去做一件事情哦。所以如果你不在工作岗位上，你要花多少时间 Fika 都没有关系。那它也可以搭配形容词使用，比如说 You need to stay as quiet as possible when others are taking a test。别人在考试的时候呢，你要尽可能的保持安静。那么或者呢，我们也可以改变一个方式，后面加上 possible， 我们直接造个句子会比较清楚。If you want the police to help find your missing dog, you need to give as much information as you can， 或者是 as possible 也可以。你如果希望呢，警察帮忙寻找你走失的狗，你就必须尽你所能提供更多的资讯。
Yeah, that's a difficult grammar point. Take as much time as you want. That means you can go as fast or as slow as you like. So using this grammar structure, verb, as much, noun, as you want, we can create many different sentences. You could say, eat as much food as you want. That means there is no limit to what you can eat. You could also say, spend as much money as you want. That sounds like a dream. You can pretty much put any verb and noun in that sentence as long as they match and the noun is something you can have a little or a lot of. Let's carry on with the article. Some common Fika treats include cinnamon rolls, fruit tarts, chocolate biscuits, cream buns, and so much more. Oh, I'm really hungry now. Yeah. Well, there are so many things to talk about here. Let's talk about cream buns. They are delicious, but what's a bun? B-U-N. Well, a bun is like a round, sweet bread dessert. A bun is usually filled with something like jam or custard. A bun can also have things on top, like chocolate or dried fruit. But buns don't always have to be sweet. The bread that we use to make hamburgers are also called buns, burger buns. Here's an example sentence. I bought 2 chocolate buns from the bakery for Mum and Dad to eat.
所以 bun 就是小圆面包或者是餐包的意思。那常见的 Fika 点心呢，有肉桂卷，然后水果塔呀、巧克力饼干、奶油小面包等等等，都是甜点哦。那么 a bun could also be a hairstyle where your hair is brought together into a round shape， 有包包头的意思。所以你可以说 My cousin likes to wear her hair in a bun. Next, the article says, apple trees are common in Swedish gardens, parks, and farms. Therefore, this is a fruit that you'll find in many Swedish baked goods. 所以苹果树呢，在瑞典很常见，所以你可以在瑞典的甜点常常看到苹果。
I think apples might be my favorite fruit.
Really?
And one of my favorite desserts would be apple pie.
Oh, me too.
So delicious. Well, the article continues and it says, one typical Fika treat is apple cake. It's a thick cake that is filled with butter, sugar, and any kind of apples you like. It sounds really delicious. Let's talk about typical. It's a strange sounding word. Let's talk about that before I run to the bakery because I'm starving. Typical is an adjective that means usual or a normal example of something. If something is typical, that means it is not surprising. It is a common, regular example of the thing we're talking about. It's not special. And we could be talking about anything. You could be talking about the typical behaviors of cats. Things that cats usually do, like knock things over and wake me up in the morning for food. Or you could talk about a place. My hometown is a typical English town. It has old brick houses, many churches, and a long high street, just like many other English towns. It's typical. So here's an example sentence. It was just another typical day at work for Jim. He answered emails, had a meeting, wrote some articles, and went home. Nothing special happened.
所以 typical 就是典型的、有代表性的意思。那么其中一种最典型的是苹果蛋糕，厚实的蛋糕，里面有奶油啊、糖，任何种类的苹果。That sounds so fattening though. 那代表一个人的特点呢，我们可以用 typical 来表示。To be typical of someone 就是代表一个人常常怎么样。譬如说 ，It wasn't typical of her to share。那代表这个人可能通常蛮小气的，平常不太喜欢跟别人分享。那我们继续看一下文章。Nothing brings us comfort and warmth like tasty food and some quiet time.
Oh, it sounds so nice. I've got so many words to talk about here, and I like all of them. There are 3 words that we should talk about. So let's do them one by one. First up is comfort. Comfort is a noun, and comfort is the state of feeling better after you are sad, worried or busy all day, or it could be something that makes you feel good and right. Watching a movie with hot chocolate and snacks gives me comfort. So here's an example sentence. Millie watched a cute, funny movie to give her comfort after a hard day at work.
所以 comfort 就是安慰、慰藉。那我们中文有时候会说物质享受，其实也可以用这个字，就是 creature comforts。那或者是给你安慰的食物，像是 chocolate， 就是 comfort food。那么也可以当动词哦。你可以说安慰谁，我们可以说 I try to comfort my sister, but she just kept on crying.
The next word is warmth. Warmth is another noun, and you probably know the adjective form warm. It means a good temperature, not too hot and not too cold, but a nice, comfortable temperature. Well, warmth, if we're adding th, is the noun form of that, and warmth can be the physical feeling of being warm, or it can also talk about that fuzzy, cozy feeling we have inside when we're comfortable. Also, if we describe a person as being warm or having warmth, that means we think they're a nice person. It's good to be warm, to have warmth. Here's an example sentence. In the winter, my cat likes to sleep under my bed sheets, where there is the most warmth.
warmth 就是温暖这个字好好记哦。老师有提到就是温暖的 warm 这个字来的哦。那么老师提到的是形容词，我们讲一下动词，把什么东西变得很暖和。譬如说 I rubbed my hands to warm them， 或者是 to warm up 也可以代表暖身，或者是做准备或使什么东西暖和起来的意思。譬如说 I usually need some time to warm up before my concerts.
Ooh, yes, if you're singing, you need to warm up those vocal cords.
Yeah.
Well, the third word we're talking about is another adjective, and it is tasty. This one's easy. Tasty is just another word of saying delicious or yummy or 好吃. If something is tasty, it tastes good. You want to eat more of it. You know what's really tasty, Chicolin? 葱油饼.
Yeah, I know.
Here's an example sentence. The food was so tasty that everybody's bowl was left completely empty.
所以 tasty 就是好美味哦，可口的意思。所以没有什么东西呢，比美味的食物跟安静的时间，更可以带给我们舒适跟温暖的了。那么 tasty 其实它是形容词嘛，那很简单哦，你把 y 拿掉，然后加进 e 就会变成 taste， 就是有品尝啊、味道、爱好或者是审美的意思。那么 taste 可以当动词或者是名词哦。我们来造两个句子。Please have a taste of the cookies I just baked. Yum yum.
So good.
Thanks. 那第二个 she really has terrible taste in clothes. 代表她的对衣服的审美不太好。那我们看一下，东西吃起来很好吃呢，我们也可以用 taste something tastes really good. 所以像 the coffee tastes good.
I need to eat. Well, the article continues and it says, try practicing the Fika tradition in your hometown. I think maybe we will. Maybe we can ask the bosses here if we can do Fika.
Yeah, we should. And there's like 3 times, maybe, including our break. Lunch break.
Yes, and maybe the boss can bring in some cakes for us.
Yeah.
That'd be lovely. Well, let's close up and go to our For You chat question of the day.
For You chat.
Okay, so our For You chat question of the day is very, very tasty. Here it is, Chicolin. What kind of snacks does your family serve at special get-togethers?
You know, my sister is an excellent baker.
Oh, I'm jealous.
So she always makes delicious desserts, and the ones that she always makes are macarons.
Very sweet.
And most of her cakes or desserts are made with matcha. I'm not really a big fan of matcha, but
It's like green tea, right?
Yes, but after I tasted hers, I'm like in love with it right now. So every time we have a get-together, my sister will always make really delicious desserts like macarons and cheesecakes, chocolate cookies, and my mom always makes drinks featuring any fruit,
Ooh,
especially with lemons.
Yeah, good in the summer, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, next time we do a fika here, you can bring some of your sister's macaroons.
Oh, I should. Maybe next time.
We can try some of those.
What about you?
What do we do? Well, I haven't been in the UK, I haven't lived in the UK for a very long time.
Oh, true.
But I do usually go home for Christmas, which is the only time of year I can think of that we have particular food traditions. So at Christmas, my parents and my grandparents will make mince pies.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Delicious.
They're very, very good. Now, mince, usually we use this word to talk about mince meat, like pork or beef that has been chopped into tiny pieces. But actually, a mince pie doesn't usually have meat. It's full of dried fruit. So it's very sweet, sometimes a bit sour. Sometimes we use cinnamon to make it spicy.
Aww.
It tastes just like Christmas.
It must go well with tea, right?
Very well. Some crazy people will even dip the pie in their tea.
I would do that.
It's a very small pie.
I'm a tea person.
It's crazy. One other special thing that we have, I think only in the UK, is we have this thing called a Yorkshire pudding. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of pudding, but I'm not really sure what it is.
Well, it's called a pudding, but it's nothing like a pudding.
Oh, really?
It's not sweet, it's savory, salty, and it's made with the same thing as pancakes. It's made with batter.
Okay.
But we put it in the oven and we put it in a special cupcake kind of tray.
Okay.
And then when it gets really hot, it grows like this.
Oh
and
my
it
goodness.
turns into like a little cup made with batter. And it's really crispy and crunchy and salty, and it's not sweet. And we usually serve it with vegetables and gravy. Sometimes you put the vegetables inside, add the gravy. Oh, it's so delicious.
I'm going to go online and search for the recipe.
Yorkshire pudding. Yorkshire is a place, and pudding is a pudding.
Okay.
So go and have a look and make yourself hungry. So you guys can also think about this question. What are some special snacks or foods that you eat as a family at special times of the year? Maybe during Chinese New Year or...
Fish, definitely.
Yeah, or there is... what's the one where you eat 粽子?
Dragon Boat Festival.
Dragon Boat Festival, 端午节, right? I know that Asian countries have many special snacks for many special days. You can talk about those. But for now, from For You, I'm Reese.
I'm Chickling.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Fika, the cozy Swedish coffee break. Coffee and tea are both basic parts of fika. More important, though, are baked foods like cakes, cookies, or sweet bread. These treats should be fresh and look pretty. At work, the boss will often bring in some kind of homemade baking. In a cafe, a range of delicious pastries will be offered. The fresh food makes fika feel cozy and intimate. If you're not at work, you can take as much time as you want to fika. Some common fika treats include cinnamon rolls, fruit tarts, chocolate biscuits, cream buns, and so much more. Apple trees are common in Swedish gardens, parks, and farms. Therefore, this is a fruit that you'll find in many Swedish baked goods. One typical fika treat is apple cake. It's a thick cake that is filled with butter, sugar, and any kind of apples you like. Nothing brings us comfort and warmth like tasty food and some quiet time. Try practicing the fika tradition in your hometown.
Vocabulary Review. Basic. Frank only had a bed, a table, and a few other basic items in his room. Bun. When you eat a hot dog, the bun that is served with it also influences the taste. Typical. Bubble milk tea is a typical drink that is served in most Taiwanese tea shops. Comfort. The letters that people wrote after my girlfriend's death gave me a lot of comfort. Warmth. Josie greeted me with warmth and made me feel welcome in her home. Tasty. The tasty dessert had the sweet flavors of fruit, chocolate, and nuts.
智慧小补帖
Homemade. Pastry. Intimate.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net